وطن الكرامة.
Hello, welcome to Watan al-Karama News Channel. It is 9 p.m. our time for top stories, and we start with latest developments in Libya. Parliament member Talal Mayhoub stressed in a statement to Watan al-Karama Channel that there are members of the 90 bloc whose mentioned signatures on the statement that accepts alleged guardianship government have denied their signatures on this statement. Mayhoub noted that the Parliament members are calling for withdrawing those signatures and sitting down at the dialogue table to agree on finding a solution regarding the UN government to prevent any attempts to harm the legitimacy of the state and the will of the people to gain access to their personal interests. Mayhoub also noted that the meeting was postponed to next Monday to decide on those signatures. 17 Parliament members issued a statement in which they emphasized the rejection of the alleged National Unity Government, describing it as a guardianship government. Parliament member Muhammad Al-Abbani said that he and a group of his colleagues issued a statement in response to the statement of the 90 bloc that supports the government, stressing that the financial pressures, including the dollar crisis and the pressure put on the ordinary citizens used by the international community to pass that government is unacceptable. The UN envoy to Libya, Martin Kobler, called on Qatar to put pressure on the outgoing Congress and its illegal government in order to ratify the political agreement and accept the alleged National Unity Government as soon as possible. One member of the participants in the dialogue said that the German Kobler visited Doha and met with the Qatari Foreign Minister Assistant for Cooperation Affairs, Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al Thani, claiming that he posted the Libyan peace talks. He added that the Kobler asked the Qatari officials to keep contacts with the outgoing Congress and urged to ratify the political agreement. UN envoy to Libya Martin Kobler met with the Italian Secretary of Defense Roberta Pinotti in Rome. During the meeting, Kobler expressed his appreciation of Italy's support for the United Nations efforts to reach an agreement to form a national unity government in Libya. For her part, Pinotti stressed Italy's role regarding reaching an agreement leading to a political solution to the Libyan crisis and achieving stability in the south area of Mediterranean Sea. And still in Libya, Air Force launched an airstrike on a bulldozer of Rana coast loaded with arms and ammunition coming from the city of Misrata, resulting in its complete destruction. On the other hand, the Arab Libyan armed forces foiled an attempt by elements of terrorist Daesh group to achieve progress in Al-Arba'iyya district in Derna. On to the Western District, Air Force fighter jets launched intensive airstrikes on positions of terrorists in Sidi Farish district of Benghazi, causing heavy losses. The Western District of Benghazi also witnessed battles and violent confrontations between the Arab Libyan armed forces and elements of the terrorist group. The forces succeeded to repel the attack along the district from the sea till the university camps, and the confrontation resulted in martyrdom of the volunteer Hani Darsiya. The interim government condemned in a statement the terrorist attack that targeted a Tunisian presidential security bus that resulted in the death of a dozen military personnel and injuring of 20 others. Terrorist Daesh group claimed responsibility for the attack. The statement expressed the government's absolute solidarity with the Tunisian government and the Tunisian people in their tragedy, stressing that such terrorist operations will increase cooperation and coordination between the two countries to confront terrorism, which threatens the region and the world alike. Yemeni President Abdrabbu Mansour Hadi toured the front lines in his war-torn country and visited troops and officers at an airbase near Taiz city. Hadi arrived at Ananad Air Base, the country's largest, by helicopter, where he greeted Yemeni troops and forces from Saudi-led coalition of Gulf Arab states that launched an offensive against Houthi rebels in March. He later visited the nearby area of Karsh, where he met military officials at the local military operations center. Coalition forces and the Yemeni troops are directing their battles from the center. The coalition wants to restore Hadi's government to power after they were ousted from many of the country's major towns and cities last year. Hadi returned to Aden last week to rally forces loyal to him and oversee a campaign to retake the city of Taiz, a presidency official said at the time. His trip to Aden was his second return since the Saudi-led coalition retook the port city in July. And to Tunisia, the residents of the Tunisian capital say they will not give in to fear after a suicide bomber carried out an attack on a presidential guard post, Deborah Litterbeck reports. The Speaker of Tunisia's parliament tells a news conference the bomb attack claimed by terrorist Daesh militants in Tunisia was targeting the country's primary institutions, announces new fund to counter terrorism. The Tunisian parliament speaker said, "It's clear the presidential guard and the state were the target. This act had the state's primary institutions as its target." He added that today we made several proposals in the name of national security, taking into consideration that in this fight against terrorism there is a social community respect that must stand out through a program dedicated to employing youth, especially in the deprived areas. There also will be a program to take further care of these deprived areas. On to Mali, Germany is ready to send up to Mali 650 soldiers to bolster the United Nations peacekeeping mission in the West African country and to help France in the region. Defense Minister Ursula von der Leyen said today, "We will shortly ask Parliament to approve a mandate of up to 650 soldiers," von der Leyen said after a meeting of the Bundestag lower house of Parliament Defense Committee. She added that Germany also planned to increase the number of soldiers training Kurdish Peshmerga forces in Iraq to up to 150 from 100. And finally, to Peru, two major magnitude 7.6 earthquakes struck the Brazilian border in the Amazon basin within the minutes of each other, the U.S. Geological Survey said, but there were no immediate reports of damage. Damage was likely limited as the epicenter was deep in the Amazonian jungle, around 296 kilometers north of the Peru's town of Puerto Maldonado, in a sparsely populated area. Both quakes were also very deep at some 602 kilometers below ground. The quakes, which struck at 5:45 p.m. and then 5 minutes later were felt by residents in the northern Chile, the Brazilian city of Brasilia, 247 kilometers west, and Peru's capital, Lima, 681 kilometers to the east. Authorities said that they were located inland and there was no risk of a Pacific tsunami. My audience said that is the wrap-up of our top stories for today. For much more, you can check our website www.watanilkarama.tv. Thanks very much for being with us. My greeting, رانيا البليدى.